शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। हरि ओम जी, हरि ओम जी, हरि ओम जी। ठीक है जी। So इसको बंद करके इसको डाल दीजिए, कैसा होगा? It's too bright ना।
ऊपर ऊपर
बस प्लीज आइडेंटिफाई द स्विचेस। बस 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 जी, बस जी, बस जी, बस बस जी, बस जी, बस। थैंक यू जी। आइडेंटिफाई द स्विच। बस जी, थैंक यू जी, थैंक यू जी। Can identify the switches. सद्गुरु भगवान की जय, गंगा मैया की जय। So this antastadharmopodeshat akashasthalingat. No, so akasha, the word akasha, see, there is always, whenever there is a doubt, a lot of the doubt is resolved in the knowledge of the context. Context helps us to get over the doubt. This is called prakarana jnanam. Prakarana jnanam means, what is the context? So, supposing we are talking about the elements, we are describing the creation, and the creation is made of 5 elements, and out of the 5 elements, one of them is the akasha. So the context is different. There it means only bhutakasha. But when we are talking about the whole Vedanta is the prakarana Brahma. It is Brahma prakaranam. Within that Brahma prakaranam, inside that Brahma prakaranam, sometimes there is an island of a prakaranam talking about the elements. So within the bigger prakaranam called Brahma prakaranam, there can be a smaller prakaranam. So if the word akasha came, in a small prakaranam, if the word akasha came in a small prakaranam, within the bigger prakaranam called Brahma prakaranam, then we can say it is bhutakasha. And therefore, bhutakasha is something that is an elemental space. The elemental space is present only in the waking state. So context itself solves many problems. That is why the author always, Vedavyasa, says prakarana jnanam is important. But here, when we are saying akasha, for example, you see, I'll read. Asya lokasya va gatihi, asya lokasya ka gatiriti, akasha iti ovaja sarvani va imani bhutani akasha iti samutpadyante, Akasham pratyastam yanti akasho hyevayebhyah jayan akasha parayanam. Look at this vakya. All elements are born of akasha. All elements are resolved in akasha. Akasha is bigger than everything. Akasha is the ultimate goal of everyone. Akasha is the truth of everything. And Akasha is the destination of everything. Because the destination cannot be other than the reality. इस वाक्य में how can Akasha means Bhutakasha? ये तो गड़बड़ है. और दूसरा बात भी, उस आकाश को ध्यान करें जिस आकाश से सब उत्पन्न होते हैं. The Akasha from which everything comes, and the Akasha unto which everything goes, and that Akasha which is bigger than everything, and that Akasha which is the destination of everyone. May you meditate upon that Akasha. How can it be taken as Bhutakasha? It can't be taken as Bhutakasha. Therefore, one has to get educated through the context. The more you look into the prakaranam, you get enlightened about what is what. The whole life is a prakaranam of searching for fullness. Yes. The whole life is a context of search for fullness. Or the resistance against individuality. Resistance against mortality. It is a Brahma Prakaranam. The life also is a Brahma Prakaranam. What else? Life is Brahma Prakaranam and Vedanta also is Brahma Prakaranam. You see, within the Brahma Prakaranam, you go to office to make money, and that is a small Prakaranam, which is the bigger Prakaranam. Making money is a smaller Prakaranam, a smaller context, but which is rooted in Brahma Prakaranam. Haji. All our duties, all our actions, all our desires and searches and whatnot and whatnot and whatnot is all within the Brahma Prakaranam. This very idea that life itself is Brahma Prakaranam makes you very happy. You will simply forget if there are some shortcomings in life, so what? My understanding is my wealth. My Swarupa is my wealth. My existence is my wealth. My clarity of my existence is my wealth. What if I am not very rich? What if I am not this and that? What if I am not popular? What if I don't have this and that? So what? The very prakaranam, the very thinking liberates you from wrong thinking. The right thinking liberates you from the wrong thinking. Therefore, Bhagavan says here, Akasha. So we are through, with this sutra. Akashastal lingat. Akasha is something that is Brahman. In Brahma Prakaranam, Akasha means Brahma. In Sansara Prakaranam, in Sansara Prakaranam, Akasha means Bhutakasha. Yes, Bhutakasha means elemental space. Okay? Let me see some more of it. Thoda acha hai. Say, Pratamataram Pratidam Abhisan Vakyate Jagadan Brahma Gunam Drishtva Na Parigrihyate. Very beautifully. Even though the moment we hear the word Akasha, what comes to our mind is Bhutakasha, but still we don't accept that meaning. Why? Because the attributes of that, the description of the Akasha here doesn't apply to Bhutakasha. This is what is called Vakya Sesha Guna. Vakya Sesha Guna. Vakya Sesha Guna means the Vakyam that talks about the Akasha also talks about the gunas of that Akasha. those gunas of that Akasha do not apply to Bhutakasha. Like what? It is bigger than everything, it is the destination of all living beings, and it is the source of all elements, and it is the culminating point of all elements, वगैरह वगैरह. इतनी बड़ी बड़ी बातें, how can we apply it to the Bhutakasha? Therefore, even though it is called Akasha, it does not mean Bhutakasha. It means only, it is only Brahman. Therefore, just because something strikes first, it need not be the meaning. That is not the criterion. How to understand a word? Speak the word and see which meaning first strikes your mind. That may be its literal dictionary meaning, but in a given context, it is used for something else. I have to determine what it means in a given context. That is called study. I have to determine what it means, because here the whole unfoldment of the truth is made by words. The whole unfoldment is in the form of the words. And what the Shruti uses the words to convey, I can't verify it through the senses. When it comes to the signs, what I hear from the signs, I can verify through the senses. Because first of all it is sense evident, then it is described. What is evident to the senses is described. Therefore, what is evident to the senses is described by signs. Therefore, what is described by signs can be verified through the senses, no problem. But what is said by the Vedanta cannot be verified through the senses. But it can be verified in the light of the experience of my own existence. There is anubhava of my presence. That is no less evident than an object. It is wrong to say that it is easier to objectify but difficult really to understand what is unobjectifiable. It's all a part of adhyasa. Because to be is not at all, that is effortless in the sense, it is not a less effort. Like silence doesn't require any effort. You don't have to think to create silence. You don't create. Therefore, the words used by, and you make it little less. Since yesterday it has been hitting me back. थोड़ा सा है कुछ. शनि महाराज बैठा हुआ है उसमें. So, I think it is all right. Is it all right now? Okay, Jay. So, thank you, Jay. Now, you see, the words I have to hear and determine its meaning to be myself. You see, because the implication, the subject matter of all the words in Vedanta is my presence. And our presence we don't have to look for, that's true. To begin with, we don't appreciate when Vedanta says, why are you searching for yourself? You are the most intimate. Says, ye kaisa ho sakta hai, wo kaisa ho. When you recognize, my God, your presence, you don't have to look for, then it's being stupid to search for one's presence. It's like, discerning. Today you understand what is discerning. Discerning is not a process. Swami Vidyaranya, while writing Panchadashi, in the first prakarana, Tattva Viveka prakarana, he says something, he gives a very beautiful example. Also, and other authors also give. That example is supposing there are 10 teenagers are less than, they're all in their Kumaras, means less than 12. छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं, 8 साल के, 9 साल के, 10 साल के, छोटे छोटे बच्चे, 10 बच्चे बैठ के पढ़ रहे हैं, रिसाइट कर रहे हैं, समझ गए ना? Now the mother comes there, she wants to hear her son's voice, but it is mixed up with other voices, but she knows, she identifies. That's called discerning, और कुछ नहीं. That's called discerning. It's mixed up. But there are so many thoughts. All thoughts are idam pratyayas. This. There are so many objects. But I am not one of them. I am aware of them. Thus, even this object, it is an object of my perception. I am aware. Thus, your conscious presence identify amid the confusions. The aham should be identified as distinct from all the idams. Like a diamond is identified as distinct from the pebbles. Like the sun is identified as distinct from all others. Because the distinction is so absolute. Like between the sun and the stars, there is a relative distinction, because we know what is recognition and we know what is identification. I identify a cow amid all the horses. Why? There is a relative distinction, not absolute distinction. Absolute, once you say, then you are making a mistake. Both are objects. Cow is a form, horse is a form, but it is a distinct form, bas. Therefore, we know how to identify. We know we have been living a life of identifying something distinct from other things. Why not? You identify your children from a group of children. This act of discerning, this nature of discerning is known to us. It is not unknown to us. But here, discerning between my presence and the rest, me and the rest, me and the rest, me is felt, me and the rest is absolute, absolute distinction. Absolute distinction, it's not relative distinction. You are there. ये घड़ा है, ये है, वो है. I am there. Don't think I am there somewhere behind, etc. etc. Don't imagine your presence. When you imagine your presence, it's confusion. But even for imagining your presence somewhere, you are there very much as the imaginer. This prakar, one has to, it is a habit. Why? Because it has been anadikal se, I have been also visualizing myself as a form. But even when I visualize myself as a form, along with the form I have my conscious identity. Accept your physiological thing, theek hai ji. Yes, I am a form, but I am also conscious. They are together. My conscious identity is not hidden somewhere behind my physiological identity. My conscious identity is as much felt as even my physiological wrong identity. I am aware of it. Therefore here, Bhagavan says, hey, even though when you hear the words of the Shruti, even though certain meanings strike you effortlessly, but they need not be taken as the meaning. We have to determine, nirdharana karna padta hai. In this context, space means the self. Space does not mean. If say space is the destination of everyone, then that space as the destination of all living beings, it cannot be the bhutakasha, elemental space. इतना विवेक तो करना है. अगर बिल्कुल ही विवेक नहीं करेंगे then तो इंटेलिजेंस तो आई नहीं फिर बड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो जाती. And therefore प्रथमतरम प्रतीतमपि सन् वाक्यशेषगतान् ब्रह्मगुणान् दृष्ट्वा न परिगृह्यते. Bhashikara says we don't take bhutakasha here in view of the context, in view of the qualities described. Richo akshare parame vyuman yasmin devadi vishve nisheduhu saisha bhargavi varuni vidya parame vyuman pratishtita. So in all these sentences the word akasha is also used in the sense of Brahma. One is laukikam, the other is vaidikam. In this society, we use even scriptural words just to connote the things around us. Because we are not interested in society. In our day-to-day interactions, we don't stumble upon paramartha. We are all the time stumbling upon the empirical things. We need language for that. And for that, therefore, a lot of words which are also used in the scripture are generally used for these empirical objects. Therefore, even the word Brahman is used for a Brahmana. So, a lot of scriptural words are used for the objects that we keep on interacting with. Therefore, and then after that, we get used to a lot of scriptural words in the sense of the empirical things. And then afterwards, when we get into the Shruti, do you know what happens? Then only those empirical objects come to the mind. But in the context of the Shruti is reading something else into it. शब्द तो एक ही है जी. The same words are used for the व्यवहार and also there is no such a thing called spiritual words. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. There is no such a thing called spiritual words, divine words. All words are created. Okay. Therefore, in Vedanta, in certain contexts, Akasha Shabda means only Brahman. Why? Talingat. Why? Because the description of that Akasha carries the adjectives of Brahman. For example, the destination of all living beings. Akasha is the destination of all living beings. Akasha is the source and resolving point of all the elements. So kaise hoga ji Akash, Bhutakash? We can't say this Bhutakasha is the source of the universe. It is a part of the universe, not the source of the universe. How can a part of the Prapancha be the source of the Prapancha? How can a part of the Prapancha be the destination of the Prapancha? So the more you think correctly in the Shastra, then you just know. This is how we have to guide ourselves. We have to guide who else is going to guide us? Shastram conveys the truth, but who is going to guide me to understand it? ऐसा तो नहीं है कि it is not just Shabda. I have the ear, whether I like it or not, I hear it. Oh, that is all right. But here I need to understand because there is an error about myself. I am living with an error about myself. There is an anadi error. And the Shruti conveys, Shruti explains, hey, you are not this, you are this. I have to guide myself towards understanding it. Who is going to guide me? Even in day-to-day life, nobody can guide me. Even when you guide me, then I have to accept that you are right. The moment I appreciate that you are right, guiding me, then it is my knowledge. Then it is my knowledge. Only my own knowledge can guide me, nobody else. If your knowledge has to guide me, then your knowledge has to become first my knowledge. Otherwise I will be blindly following you, not guiding me. आप हमारा हाथ पकड़ के, then it's like a blind being following. That who is interested in that? All exploitation begins there. Yes. If we say everybody has to guide himself to the truth, the Shruti conveys, listen to it and then guide yourself to understanding it. Supposing the Swami says, no, you don't worry, just hear and go home and then I will work on your minds. मैं तो आपका अंतर्यामी हूँ. This is all, this creates exploitation. Any wrong leads to exploitation. There are not only religious exploitations and spiritual exploitations, there are material exploitations. Why not? If a judge takes bribe, is it not exploitation? He is exploiting your majburi. What is taking bribe, ji? Exploiting your majburi. What else? At every turn in life there is exploitation. The one who is physically strong exploits the weak. The husband exploits the wife. If a husband does not exploit wife, he must be a Mahatma in thinking. A non-exploiting husband can be worshipped with coconuts. Yes, you can break coconut. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva. Yes. Who else is great? Who else is divine, ji? A non-exploiting soul is divine. Therefore, please understand one thing. Shruti conveys, I have to guide myself to understanding it. ये सबसे बड़ा useful है आपके लिए. All superstitions come to an end here. The teacher may teach in a class of physics, let us say, but I have to guide myself. I have to quieten myself, guide myself to understand what he is telling. Nobody else. Teacher may repeat. Yet the fundamental principle that I have to guide myself towards understanding it doesn't change. That principle can't change. Why? Because the Shruti itself says, Atma varya drashtavyaha, shrotavyaha, mantavyaha, nidivyasitavyaha. Okay, ji. Next, another vakya, ji. Om kam brahma, kam brahma. See? You say, Om kam brahma. What is Brahman? Sukham. Kam. K-A-M. Kam. Ka. First ka. 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 Ga. Ga. You know? So first ka means Sukham in Vedanta. Kam means Sukham. Kam means unlimited, Akasha. That's why a bird is called Ka Gaha. Ke Gachati. Ka Gaha. Ek Pakshi is called Khagaha. Why? It flies in the space. It flies in the sky. What is Brahman? Kam means Akasha. Means what? Unlimited. Unlimited. What else is Brahman? Kam. Kam means what? Sukham, Anandam. Kam means Sukham, Anandam. Kam means unlimited. Therefore, meditate on Bhagavan as like what? Om Kam Brahma, Kam Brahma. Brahman is Om, and that is Sukham, that is Ananda Rupam, and that is unlimited. Iti, think in the direction, at least to think in the direction of the truth. And one day you become, ultimately you will think in the direction of yourself. I say, even before I touch the destination, I have to move in that direction. There is a principle of moving in that direction. I am working in that direction. Similarly, in life, I have to work in the direction of myself. At least I have to make a beginning, my God. बाहर कुछ नहीं है. कुछ नहीं है मतलब कुछ नहीं है beyond appeasing your hunger. You see, there is food. Outside it is matter. When you put it in the stomach also, it is matter. Maybe it becomes some constipated matter. बस इतना ही है. It doesn't become Atma. And then really it is like a fuel for the body. You feel for some time appeasing hunger. You don't feel hungry. But beyond that, what is there? The creation is eating itself. The body is a part of creation and the food also is a part of creation. Therefore, one part of the creation is eating another part of creation. That means what? One created thing can sustain another created thing. But the uncreated cannot be sustained by the created. Are you able to follow? The uncreated, the truth, the Nityam, cannot be and need not be sustained by the created. Therefore, we value this world because, it helps me live, survive, enjoy. समय बिताने में आनंद आता है. If I have money, I can enjoy this, that. Therefore, then what happens is, then our physical insecurity is so much, then we overdo in valuing the objects. जैसे इसको बहुत जरूरी है, बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाएंगे नहीं तो, then we become, we go overboard in accumulating. ये बहुत जरूरी है, वो जरूरी है, वो ये जरूरी है. Therefore, we start overestimating our zarurat, and then it's like, if the petrol is not just supplied for a few days, how the people hold, oh my God, that is the time. All your connections help you. If you are well connected, then you telephone all the petrol pumps wale. देखो भैया इतना है. Next day says फिर आ गया. And then he says अब क्या करना? It is all, I am telling you, human beings minus Shastra behave like absolute bandars. Yes, I am sorry to say that, but that's true. We just go मूर्ख बन जाते हैं. Therefore, you live your life, but think in terms of presence. Instead of using memory to dwell on the objects, use your memory to dwell on your presence. And you don't require even memory there. To dwell on your past, you need memory. To dwell on your future, you need memory. But you are there. In all memories, I am there. It's not a memory. In all memories, I am there. In all memories, I am there is not a memory. Wow, it's not a memory, It is seeing the eternal. At least begin the topic, Even in a shoddy manner, begin the topic, it will teach you how to be brilliant with the topic. Yes, the topic, I still say in every class, think about the topic, it will teach you how to understand the topic. Bas. There is no other way. हमारा गुरुजी कहते थे, be in water, it will teach you how to swim. I still value that sentence. I still value. It's a great, great unfoldment. Be with the topic, it will teach you how to grasp it. Thus, come Brahma, come Puranam. He said, come Puranam. The space is the most ancient and yet never changing. It is most ancient. Our existence is the most ancient. See, ये बाकी सब सृष्टि सब छोकरा है. Atma is most ancient. सृष्टि is छोकरा. You know छोकरा? तो कल का बच्चा है. सृष्टि कल का बच्चा है जी. Our existence is the most ancient. Sanatanam. That is why हमारा धर्म भी सनातन धर्म है. क्योंकि सनातन के बारे में, सनातन वस्तु के बारे में बात करने वाला जो धर्म है वही सनातन धर्म है। सनातन धर्म का मतलब, स्वामी जी, हाउ कैन आवर सनातन धर्म was there during the caveman time? At that time it was avyakritam. It doesn't become non-existent. The right education becomes manifest and unmanifest. It doesn't become corrected. It doesn't become falsified. You see, the right, like for example, the knowledge of all the science may become unmanifest, and when it becomes manifest also it is the same knowledge, it doesn't change. Similarly, Sanatana Vidya may become avyakritam and vyakritam, but it does convey the truth. It is not its age-oldness that is its value. It's not its age-oldness. It is that it conveys the eternal. It conveys the eternal. That it conveys the truth is its value. That is what makes it Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma does not mean Sanatana Vishayo Dharma, Sanatana Dharma, natu Puratana Haiti. Sanatana Dharma does not mean ancient culture. It is a culture that talks about the most ancient, the truth. Its topic is Sanatana. Sanatana. हमारे धर्म तो सनातन धर्म है बहुत साल से, ये तो अनादि है, अव्याकृत होता है, व्याकृत होता है, व्याकृत होता है, व्याकृत होता है, वो कोई बात नहीं. Just because it is anadi, it doesn't become valuable. It conveys, it delivers the goods. Okay. इति पुराणम इति चैव मादौ वाक्य उपक्रमेऽपि वर्तमानस्य आकाश शब्दस्य वाक्यशेषवशात् युक्ता ब्रह्म विषयत्वावधारणा. I am perfectly justified in determining the meaning of the word akasha as Param Brahman, because in Vakya Sesha, along with the mention of the word akasha, there is a description of the qualities of that akasha. In view of those qualities, I can't determine it as Bhutakasha. I have to determine it as Brahman. Why? Bhutakasha cannot be the destination of everything. Bhutakasha cannot be the source and end of everything. Similarly. But why should we not take the literal meaning? Why should we take literal meaning? It's not important to be literal. It is important to be right. I don't have to be literal. Why? I can be right. For example, Agni Radhi Te Anuvakamitihi. Bhashyakara says, hey, even in Karma Kanda when we say Agni Radhi Te Anuvakam, the fire is reciting the Veda. What does it mean? Fire is reciting means what? Can fire the Agni elemental? Can the Bhutagni, can the elemental fire recite Veda? No. It means what? A bright student is reciting. Fire means a Vedic student is called fire, Agni. Because he goes on consuming, You give him anything, he consumes, assimilates. He's called Agni. A student should be Agni, like Agni. He just goes through and then he consumes it. That is why, figuratively, a Vedic student is called Agni. Agnihi adhite, studies, reciting. Anuvakam means a section of Veda. एक अनुवाक को पढ़ रहा है अग्नि. तो अग्नि का मतलब क्या हुआ जी यहाँ पर? अग्नि शब्द तो the moment you say it, what strikes you? Fire. But can we take it? Can we take the literal meaning? No, you can't take the literal meaning. Agni radhi te anuvakamitihi Vakya upakramagataha api agni shabdaha manavaka vishayaha drishyate. Even though agni shabda is, even though in the beginning of the vakya, but in view of what comes, supposing you say, you begin the sentence, fire is burning, then I can take the elemental fire. Supposing you say the fire is reciting. So after fire, what comes after fire, the language that comes after fire, that is not the quality of the elemental fire, that is the quality of a student, a bright student. In view of the Vakya Sesha, means what comes later. What comes later. In view of that Vakya Sesha, in that Vakya Sesha means, the remainder of the sentence. The following words in a sentence. The following words in view of the following words in a sentence. That is called Vakya Sesha. So in view of the Vakya Sesha, Agni Radhite Anuvakam should mean only Manavakaha. Manavakaha means a brahmachari, student. Manavakaha. Manavakaha means a student, and brahmachari is reciting. Agni Radhite, the fire is reciting. Similarly, Kham Brahma, Akashaha Jayan, Akashaha Parayanam, space is the destination, etc. There it should mean Brahman. इस प्रकार की मीमांसा में विचार बढ़ता है. जितना आप मीमांसा करेंगे उतना अच्छा विचार बनता है मन में. तस्मात् आकाश शब्दम ब्रह्मेति सिद्धम. It is concluded. Therefore, the word Akasha means Brahman iti siddham. सिद्ध हो गया. ठीक है. Now comes the next sutra ji. Atayeva pranaha Atayeva pranaha. In the same way, understand in Vedanta, whenever we use the word prana, it can mean breath, but according to the context, it can mean Brahman. Prana Shabda means Brahman. Suppose somebody, inka prana chale gaya, the breath stops, and that's their breath. Mera prana shakti, supposing an yogi says, pranayam karo, you don't do the ayama of Brahman, you do only breathing exercise, you don't do Brahman exercises. Pranayam kar raha hu, blowing in and out. I am blowing Brahman out. And then aisa nahi hota hai. So in yoga context, prana means breath. According to the context, prakarana jnanam is what? Is beautiful. That is why some author said somewhere, prakarana jnanam eva jnanam. The real understanding is as per the context. Prakriya janyam jnanam eva jnanam. And in order to understand the prakriya, I have to understand the prakarana. Okay, ji. Atayeva pranaha. In Vedanta, in lot of Upanishads, the word prana, prana upasana, the word prana is used in the sense of Parameshwara. It is also used in the sense of Bhuta, Vayu, elemental air. It is also used in the sense of mind. It is called Ekadasha Pranas. Prana Shabda is used in the sense of breath. Prana Shabda is also used in the sense of faculties. We have got 11 pranas. A jiva has 11 pranas. Now, what should it mean? Brahman? Should it mean does he have 11 breaths? Then it should mean what? 11 faculties. 11 faculties means 5 faculties of perception, 5 faculties of action, and 1 faculty of antahkaranam. And another thing, 5 faculties of action include 5 breaths also, because prana is a part of Shakti. Pancha pranas, pancha jnanendriyas, 1 antahkaranam. So this is called Ekadasha pranas. You say, when you go to sleep, you go back to prana. Then what does it mean? All the faculties go back to prana. It means Brahman. Oh, when you fall asleep, all pranas go back to, all these faculties, pranas go back to prana. The mind goes back to prana, etc., etc. That's as per the context. Now, I am going to read a line. Udgithe prastotaryo prastotarya devata prastavam prastavam anvayatta ityupakramya shuyate katamasa devata iti. This is the Vakya. Katamasa devata. What is this prana? Which devata is this? There are 33 करोड़ देवताएं हैं. इन 33 करोड़ देवता में ये प्राण है, कौन सी देवता है? समझ गए ना? कथमासा देवता इति प्राण ही हो वाचा. ये देवता is called prana. Okay. All right. What is the रूपरेखा of this prana? सर्वाणि हिवायमानि भूतानि प्राणमेवा अभिसंविशन्ति. Oh my God! All these bhutas, the creations, go back to this prana. Pranameva abhisamvishanti, pranam abhivujjihate, and they all appear in that prana. Saisha devata, this is the devata. Prastavam anvayatya. It is this devata that pervades the whole Veda. It is this devata that pervades the reciter of the Vedas. It is this devata that pervades all the Vedas. It is this devata that pervades the entire creation. Saisha devata prastavam anvayatta iti तत्र संशय निर्णयो पूर्वदेव द्रष्टव्यो. इसके बारे में एक डाउट होता है. ये जो प्राण है जिसको सब जाते हैं, सब आते हैं, ये प्राण ये वायु रूप प्राण है या क्या है? ये कौन सी देवता है? And therefore पूर्व पक्ष से वायु विकार ले लेंगे. Why? Because जैसे भी हम प्राण शब्द सुनते हैं, जो मन को आता है वो वायु है, ब्रेथ है. So what is so easily graspable, why leave it and then look for something difficult? Why don't we just accept? Here prana means only vayu. Because पूर्व पक्षी says, जल्दी जल्दी खत्म करो मीमांसा को, जाके भोजन करके सो जाएंगे बस. He is not interested in finding out what the truth is. Actually, that is not the thing. We put up the Purvapaksha. We make him talk so that it becomes clear. Purvapakshi को उठाते हैं. पूर्वपक्ष उठता नहीं है. सिद्धांती ने पूर्वपक्ष को उठाता है. हाँ जी, पूर्वपक्ष सिद्धांति himself is like a teacher asking questions for students. You can't ask questions, therefore I will ask questions against what I am talking. It is like that. So the Siddhanti puts up Purvapaksha. So what does the Purvapakshi say? We can take only Vayu Vikaram. वायुविकारस्य पंचवृत्तेः प्राणस्य उपादानं युक्तं तत्र हि प्रसिद्धतरः प्राणशब्दः इति अवोचामः. It is easy to grasp. Prana means air, that's end of it. Now सिद्धांत ask a question, ऐसे कैसे होगा जी? जैसे मैंने पहले बोला था, your interpretation of the prana shabda in the sense of vayu, your interpretation of the prana shabda in the sense of vayu is contrary to the description of the prana in the vakya sesha. जैसे पहले था. So in the previous also Akash Shabda we determined to mean Brahman in view of the context or in view of the Vakya Sesha. Similarly here also should we not determine the meaning of the Prana Shabda in view of the Vakya Sesha? Purvavadihapi tallingat brahmana eva grahanam yuktam इहापि वाक्यशेषे भूतानां संवेशन उद्गमनं पारमेश्वरं कर्म प्रतीयते. Everything going back to it and everything reappearing in it. If that is prana, then definitely that prana, it is Brahma Lakshanam. Being the source of everything, being the resolving point of everything is not Vayu Vikara Lakshanam, but it is Brahma Lakshanam. Parameshwaram karma pratiyate na mukhye viprane bhut samveshana udgamana se darshanat. यहाँ पर there is a small little गंभीर विचार. इसको आप लोग just another 5 minutes try to grasp it. Purvapakshi says, sir, if prana means something that is the resolving point of everything and the source of everything and the resolving point of everything, I say that lakshanam can apply to the breath also. Because when you go to sleep, everything disappears, only prana remains. By that we infer everything goes back unto prana. Everything disappears unto prana which stays. And again, within that prana everything reappears. Presupposing the presence of the prana, everything appears. Why not we say that even the breath is the resolving point of everything? सब कुछ, everything goes back into breath and everything comes out of breath. Why not we say? This is called अहंग्रह उपासना में ये बड़ा विचार है. यहाँ पर बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है. People say meditating upon prana means just only vayu vikara. No, prana upasana does not mean meditating upon vayu. It is meditating upon the source and end of everything. Looking at yourself as everything going back unto you. But anyway, ji, Purvapakshi says, this particular lakshanam of everything going back to it and everything reappearing in it, it can apply to Vayu Vikara also. Doesn't it apply? Siddhanta says, where does it apply? See, in sleep everything, only breath remains, all up, disappear. What is the inference? It goes back into prana. And keeping that breath alive, everything comes back. That means what? All that it goes back into breath. That means everything again remanifests in breath. Keeping the breath alive, all faculties manifest. Keeping the breath alive, all faculties become unmanifest. So the breath is the source of everything. Breath is the resolving point of everything. Why not we interpret that way? समझ गया? For that Siddhartha says, shut up. How? यदा वै पुरुषः स्वपिति प्राणं तर्हि वागप्येति प्राणं चक्षुः प्राणं श्रोत्रं प्राणं मनः स यदा प्रबुध्यते प्राणादेव अधि पुनर्जायन्ते इति. See, what we say is everything goes back into prana. Everything goes back into prana means including the breath. Yes, including the breath. Pratchaksham te tat swavagale so no. In this manner, now I am going to just touch upon the salient point and then we'll leave. Purvapakshi says, Prana, the Brahma Lakshanam, what you are quoting as Brahma Lakshanam can also apply to Vayu Vikara, breath. Siddhanta says, no, it doesn't apply. Why it doesn't apply? Why? Because even the Mukhya Prana, Ekadasha Pranas resolve unto Prana. You see, Yada Swapiti Tada Sata Sampanno Bhavati. When everything resolves, you stand as the Sat, not as breather, not as a Prana. According to you, hey Purvapakshi, when everything resolves, Mukhya Prana remains, the breath remains. This is called Mukhya Prana. You say that when man goes to sleep, everything goes back into Mukhya Prana. And everything again remanifests, keeping in view, keeping alive, the Mukhya Prana. Siddhanta says, but then, if you take this meaning, then even in sleep you are there as a Jiva. As a breather, you are a Jiva. But Shruti says, in sleep, from sleep point of view, you are not a Jiva. You cease to be a Jiva. There, yada swapiti tada sata sampanno bhavati. You stand as the truth. Therefore, if breathing is the thing that remains in sleep, then you remain a breather, not Sat. But in the deep sleep state, you don't stay as a breather. You don't experience your breather status. Ji. See, you keep the breathing going on so that the people don't make a mistake. See, Bhagavan says keep breathing, otherwise the others will make a mistake. They will make mischief. They will bundle you out. Itna acha mauka kab milega? And therefore, Bhagavan also is very clever. But you don't feel you are a breather. It's amazing. Don't look at the deep sleep state from waking point of view. Don't look at your interpretations of deep sleep state from the waking. But you recollect your deep sleep state anubhava as it is. When you recollect the deep sleep state anubhava as it is, then it is free from even the idea of being a breather. There is no individual. In fact, when you recollect the deep sleep state as it is without interpretation, deep sleep state is not experienced as one of the three states. It is experienced as non-dual. Because in order to experience the deep sleep state as one of the three states, there I have to remember the two states. वो तो है ही नहीं है. ऐसा तो है ही नहीं है. Therefore, don't quote Sushupti to establish the continuity of breath. We quote Sushupti to show even the freedom from breath. Sushupti is quoted even to prove even the freedom from breath. You don't feel the breath in deep sleep state. If I can feel breath, then I can feel the body also. If I can feel the breath, then I can feel the whole world. Therefore, there, Siddhanti is going to say, don't quote Sushupti to show the continuity of breath. Even breath has negation, it has resolution. So if breath has a laya, breath can't have laya in Vayu Vikara. Because Vayu Vikara also has laya. So if Vayu Vikara has a laya, then it can't have Vayu Vikara can't have laya in another Vayu Vikara. Therefore, the resolving point of all the faculties is also the resolving point of Mukhya Prana. Therefore, the resolving point of all faculties, including Mukhya Prana, cannot be Mukhya Prana, it has to be Brahma. Therefore, that it is the resolving point of everything. Is it Mukhya Prana Lakshanam or Brahma Lakshanam? Brahma Lakshanam. So once I determine that it is Brahma Lakshanam, not Mukhya Prana Lakshanam, we become wiser. Yes. Hey my God, all the time Sushupti points to Brahma Lakshanam. It is Brahma Lakshanam. Brahma Lakshanam means it has the description of, it has the nature of Brahman, the truth. Therefore in deep sleep state I am not carrying any breath. I am not even aware of the breath. From Jagrata Drishti I talk so many things about Sushupti. That's different. Therefore, look at yourself in three states. Don't focus on a detail. Your continuity in all the three states. Therefore, you have the continuity. The waking state comes and goes, dream state comes and goes, thoughts come and go. Therefore, amid the non-continuous details, you have the continuity. That is called discerning. I have the continuity and everything else has discontinuity. Is prakara discerning. Discerning is not a separating process. Like identifying your own son's voice from amid the other 9 voices. Yes, identifying. It's like identifying a coconut tree amid all other trees. I mean, it's a relative thing, but the same. The quality, the sutra, the principle is the same. The principle of discerning is the same. Whether you discern one object from other objects or discern the truth from the rest of the creation, it is the same. Discerning a lion from the rest of the animals or discerning the truth from the rest of it is the same thing. The principle of discerning is the same. Understand what is viveka. Vivekana means yevo hai. Anatma, anatma hai, atma, atma hai. Is prakar. Okay, ji. Then we will continue this prana. There are some more points. We will see that in the next class. Prana Shabda does not mean Mukhya Prana. But अबे इनका प्राण शक्ति बढ़ रहा है कोई कहते हैं. It doesn't mean Brahma Shakti बढ़ रहा है. प्राण शक्ति मतलब is doing some pranayama and therefore थोड़ा बहुत he is able to. There it is Mukhya Prana. And it can be Ekadasha Prana. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Om Tat Sat. Ganga Maiya Ki Jai. Harihi Om Harihi Om Harihi Om.